Hello, viewers! We've made it. The penultimate episode of Let's Play Xenogears with the Benjinator. We've come an awful long way, and now we are ready to take down God. Or specifically, take down a intergalactic invasion system that is being revived. Thanks to a man named Krellian, the mother Miang, who also now has captured Ellie, who's part of the mother. It's a little confusing, but point is, we're going to be going into the final dungeon. We're going to be facing what lies before us in the last frontier, the last hope for humanity, and maybe a chance to rebuild what looks like a pretty beat-up world at this point. So here we go, into Merkava. Alright, so just wanted to show you, I'm at level 80 with Faye, which was important to get that last death blow, which is not totally necessary, but I decided for the sake of showing off in the last video to get it. You can see he's got the two GNR 50s in the Z Charger, as does his two other party members. So Citan has that as well, and Bart also has GNR 50s. And now, like I said, I mentioned this in the last video, that might seem a little crazy that you don't have a frame repair. And the reason is because with the Omega 100 engines, you don't have enough fuel to be able to actually use it in a useful way. So what you're going to have to do is just kind of barrel through this dungeon, fight as many enemies as you can, but with the extreme amount of attack power you've got, you should be able to beat through everything. Also, I should mention that there is kind of like a little cheat way, which I'll be showing you in a little bit, of how to heal yourself. Just make sure to get one of those frame repair 10s, the 10%ers. So thankfully this area does have a map. You can hit select and you can do it anytime you want. And so this first floor is fairly easy. I actually do head down the wrong path initially, but getting through it is not that difficult. So now you're going to be introduced to some of the enemies within Merkava. The Eagle Armor is a pain in the ass because he does that. But, as you can see, this is just going to cut right through them. Yeah! 6,000 with a single hit. Go Omega 100 GNR. Love it. So the mirror ARs, they help deflect against certain angel attacks, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. So, here I am just checking the map every once in a while. I'm heading south towards a dead end right now, but that's going to be switched up in just a little bit. Because right now this really isn't going to lead anywhere. And this, you know, you're gonna make some mistakes. It's okay. So these are also the Eagle Gunners, which are a transformed version of the Eagle Armors. And as you'll see, yeah, their either attacks do a ton of damage right now, just because of the way that we're set up. But as you can see, just one hit will take care of them. Even if they block, it's still 4,000 damage. That was a muffled attack from Faye. The full brunt of it would have done a lot more. So, it's just to demonstrate the sheer power of what we're dealing with right now. Some pretty insane stuff. So here's the little cheat I was talking about. If you really want to heal your HP, you temporarily put on a frame 10. And then what you do is you go to abilities or gear option, and then you can use that. And so that's going to use up some fuel, but you got the Z Charger, so in the next one you can just charge once and get most of it back. So, I mean, you really can't run out of fuel here. It's pretty impressive. And so again, like it's all a personal preference thing. Like if you want to keep the other engines and keep the massive amounts of fuel, you can do that. But I really think having an power output of 100 is really worth it. So this is the first set of really annoying enemies because the Seraphs use angel attacks. And almost universally, they will do 9,999, which is a ton of damage, obviously. But most of the time, they'll do that, and it'll do absolutely nothing. During this playthrough, I think I only experienced an angel attack, a halo attack once. And the thing is, too, is that if you die, if one of your characters ends up perishing in battle, when they get brought back, because you have so much HP maximum, they're going to have, like, I think it's like, you know, a 10% of their HP back, so, you know, they'll be able to survive another attack, probably a couple, in battle. So So you don't have to really worry about getting through this dungeon too much if you have these attacks. So the Angel ARs I just briefly kind of showed you there. They do deflect Angel attacks, so I mean, like, it reduces that 9,999 to like 5,999. But you know, it's not really worth it, I don't think. Kind of making our way around, charging through, just skipping some battles. So yeah, this is a dead end. So what I actually do is I skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to be moving up to, yeah, this is just a little bit later. I moved up to the upper right-hand corner. So yeah, once you see these little laser things, that's kind of a good sign. It means that you're going in the right direction. So you just want to head up into, there's a save point over here, I believe. So you can save if you like, which I just did. But you want to head through the red door that's going to be up there. Your left. As far as treasures go, there really isn't anything. I mean, first of all, there's not a lot of treasure chests just in general in this particular dungeon. I think there's only maybe a handful. And the stuff that you do find really isn't worthwhile. Most of the time, it's nothing that's really going to help you out. So here we go. We get to go diving. Woohoo! So yeah, you get to. This is somewhat of a mini game. You just have to. You're automatically flying down, and all you have to do is avoid those lasers. It's not really that hard. If you actually get hit by one, you only lose a little bit of HP, so it's really not that big of a deal. He's okay. He's perfectly fine. Hey. I don't know why I'm sounding like I'm from Wisconsin. Probably because most of my family is. Yeah, so it makes that sound, and it indicates that you've hurt yourself a little bit, but it's overall not that big of a deal. Good stuff. All right, so now we're into probably one of the most brain-teasery parts of the of this dungeon. So there's a series of, let's call them circles, pods, and they have bridges jutting out from them. And on that map, the dark green paths mean that they're like on the first level, and the light green mean they're on an upper level. And for every one of these pods, there's these little elevators, right? And they go up and down. And basically what this is kind of a switch puzzle. What's really fortunate is that there are no battles in this particular part of this particular screen. So this will give you plenty of time to figure stuff out. So what's really interesting and kind of fun about this part of the game is that, I mean, fun being a relative term. I mean, when I was playing FF6 with my friend Code, he talked constantly about how he hated the sphere puzzles, and I love them. So I kind of like this sort of thing. I think it's fun. So what I'm actually trying to do is to hit some switches, because there's a couple of switches that need to be hit, and the first one is going to be up here. So you don't want to. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to go down. You don't want to do that quite yet. But the whole thing is that you're trying to, you know, in Merkava right now, you're trying to get as close to the center as possible. And the next time I go to the map, you'll see that there's going to be a little circle, a pod, I should say it, with a red square in the middle. And that's your ultimate goal, is to get to that red square. But getting there is a little bit harder, is easier said than done, I should say. So you move this switch over. You can always put the switch back, but there's no reason to, really. So you put that switch over, and now you've connected those two together. And I believe that there is something at the edge of that. I'm going to have to go see. I think that I do check it out. There is some kind of button that you have to push, but essentially everything that you can toggle here, you should, because it will lead to good things. And this takes a lot of trial and error. I remember the first time I was just really confused by this whole deal. But surprisingly with this playthrough, I actually get through it fairly efficiently. It's not that hard. And I'll be able to point out more things once I turn the map on. Like right now, I'm literally just trying to play through. Okay, so yeah, you want to go up, you want to go to that pod over there, you want to hit that switch. That's going to be your first step. And again, the first time I played this back in 2002, back when I was in this dungeon, when I was about to finish up Xenogears for the first time, I had to wander around this screen hitting buttons and being generally confused for a while. So I believe that I actually had a pretty successful run through this time. Okay, so that switch can only be hit once and cannot be undone, but you do absolutely want to hit it. So what this does is this will move a bridge way up there. So that seems like nothing's going to have anything to do with that, but that there's a bridge that's connected at the top of the screen there. And so the next thing that you want to do from here is you actually want to go to the bottom of the screen, that second red door at the very at the very south end of that map, where the light path is. And so what that's going to do is that's going to bring you to another room, and then once you get through that room, it's going to wrap around to the top of that map. So the interesting thing about this room is that by going off the edge of the screen, you'll be able to go to a separate room and then come around on a different side. And in this inverse room, you'll be able to see which doors correspond with it. So if we go down to that second door at the bottom of the screen, which is what I'm heading to now, you'll be able to wrap around to the top of the map to where that bridge is, the one that I hit the unreversible switch, which will lead us to yet another switch, which will connect another bridge. And you see where that central square in the middle is? We want to move that bridge to the left. That's going to be our ultimate goal, is to be able to get there. But right now the bridge is pointing up when it should be pointing to the left. So that's what we're kind of going for in this final dungeon. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but the whole idea, the whole thing that you want to just keep in mind is that you can get to... you can arrive on this map from any angle, provided that you go to the next room, which you'll see in a little bit, and you enter the appropriate door. So, right now I'm going the wrong way, because that's going to be a bridge that literally leads to nowhere. Thank you, Chris Christie. And we're going to see pretty soon the right direction. So this is where you're supposed to go. Head over here. And yeah, there's nothing down there. There's a bridge that, again, leads to absolutely nowhere. I do check it out, though, just to demonstrate to you that there's nothing over there. Right, nothing going on this bridge. But, you know, sometimes it's okay to check these out. And I believe that somewhere on this map there is actually a repair bot, if I recall. And it's basically like, you know, Johnny Shopkeeper, whoever it is, but he doesn't actually sell you anything. He can only restore your gear. So that's kind of unfortunate. So here we go. We're going to be going off into a different screen. And on this different screen, you will be able to fight battles. See, we're going to be heading south. That's where we are now. And you'll be able to see in a little bit how to get to the top. So you want to go to the door that's exactly north of that. That's due north, that one at the top, where we got that bridge. And so now we're going to be going on this screen where you can fight battles. This is kind of the back end. And so you want to be going to that door to the south, that one directly to the south. You don't want to go to the diagonals, you just want to go to the ones to the south. So that's going to be your goal. And so on these screens, these doors will correspond to the doors that you see beforehand. It kind of, again, it wraps around. It brings you to the other end of the screen, as you'll see. And so this is a power seraph. These guys are a pain in the butt, just because they have high defensive power. And they'll do quite a bit of damage when they hit you, too. However, right now he's just blocking. So, yeah. Does a little bit of damage. And he does that to Bar, too, which is not what we want. But it is what it is. And here we are, doing the Repu. And voila. Oh, wow, he's got a lot of energy. I think this is the only one that I ever fought, though. So, yeah, Bart is almost dead. But the thing is that if he died in this battle, and in the next battle, he would actually have more HP than he does to have now. Like, right now, he's got 80 HP. If he died, if it went to 0, and it brought him back, in the next battle, he would have, like, 12 or 1300. So, with that in mind, and with the speed with which you can get through these enemies with the super engine power, you don't really have to worry about healing, because most of these enemies only attack one person at a time anyway. So you're not going to have to worry about attacks that hit everybody and wipe everybody out. I believe this is an Earth Seraph. This is one we haven't seen before. So this is going to get rid of Bart, but then he'll come back with 1200 HP. Like, that's that's just kind of how it is. So it's it almost seems like healing is kind of redundant. Basically, if they can survive one attack in a battle, then you'll be fine. And most of the time they will, because your attacks are so powerful, you're just going to eat right through them. Alright, so, yeah, we're gonna just see that Bart now has... Yeah, he got 2,600 HP. He will be fine. He can survive several attacks. So, death is the new life. And so you can actually go to some of these other doors if you want, and they'll bring you to other places, but they're really not that useful. This is just kind of the most direct and the best way to go. Is you want to go on to this one, and now you'll see the connection between this end of the map and the next one. So now, where we are, we're back on that previous screen, but now we're on that side. And so you can kind of see the connection. If you had entered one of those diagonal doors, you would have ended up, like for example, if you'd gone in the southwesterly door, you would have ended up in the northeasternly door on this side. If that makes sense. So going out the south door will lead to the north door and so forth. And you can kind of see the corresponding doors when you go to that other room where you fight battles. So this is what you want to do next. And this is another irreversible door right here. Just hit this. And now that's the switch that we wanted to hit. That will make that bridge move. And now you see on this map, see now where that red dot is, that bridge is moving that way. So the next thing you want to do is you want to go to the westerly door, the one on the very left. And then you're going to go to a different room where you'll be able to wrap around and you'll be able to find, well, basically a door that leads southeast. And then you'll turn up at that northwest door on this map, as you can see, the northwest door, and then you'll be able to go to that dumpster. So it's a little confusing. I'm trying to explain it the best way possible, but you just have to keep in mind the wraparound effect. You know, going east, going in an eastern door, ending up on another screen will put you on the western door, and so forth. So it's just kind of how it works. It's definitely a brain teaser. It definitely makes you think. It's, I mean, fortunately, when I was a kid in the 90s, I mean, I played a lot of computer games that had, you know, that kind of made you think, do some, you know, critical thinking, do some sort of logic puzzles and so forth. So, it was definitely worthwhile. So this is interesting. This switch is not necessary, but what it will do, once I go back up, is it will connect that bridge that's kind of right in front of you, and it'll make movement easier. It'll make movement more fluid in this room if you decide to explore a little bit more. But again, at this point it's really not necessary. See, now that bridge is connected to where we started out, when we began this floor as a whole. So it's a nice little shortcut. Again, not totally necessary. So now we're going to be heading to the left half of the map, the western end, and this will bring us to a totally different inverse room, as you can see on this map right here. And you want to head north to that door that is heading southeast, which will bring you to the northwest end of the other room. So there is some logic to it. Like, if you were to put all these maps together, it would definitely make sense. It would definitely have like some kind of continuity to it. You have to put all these maps and kind of like lay them out on a chart. I mean, if that helps you out, that might actually be a good thing. So, and now we get to see the final elemental seraph. We've seen, this is the fire. So we've seen the earth. We've seen the what is it? The water, I think. Yeah, we've seen the water. I'm not sure if we've seen the wind seraph, actually. Or have we? It was either water or wind, one of those two. But I believe that these are the enemies that we find here. I might have missed one again. But these seraphs, again, if you're this powerful, you just eat right through them. It's very easy. It's very simple. So yeah, I do believe that I do go down here just to see what's there. And I believe that nothing is there. Not even a treasure chest, just an unhappy dead end. And so now we're proceeding, and you know you're going the right way when you see those little laser things, and they don't hurt you, they don't do a damn thing. They're just kind of there. So off we go to the next pot. And yeah, this will be this will lead us to the next floor, which is actually going to be which is actually going to look very familiar to you, by the way, when we go down this next chute. Yes, I do want to go down. I do want to go down. Tell me I want to go down. There we go. I'm really glad it wasn't so glitchy, like it only toggles once the question about asking you to going down. Because there's some games where you'd have to like go off the screen and back for it to work. Alright, so now it's asking you if you want to go in, kind of signifying that you're not going to go back. Would have been nice if they asked you that the first time you went down a chute, but I guess they figured that this one's a little bit more important. So here we go. Using my mad dodging skills to get down here. I mean, not really that it matters because you're actually coming upon a healing spot very soon. So, if you get hit by these laser things, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, I could just, if I wanted to, I could just get hit by every single one of them and it would be absolutely fine. But now we're doing some camera-altering action, which is fun. Ah. And now here we go. If you remember, folks, remember back when we fought Ramses and Myung? Same place. We're back inside Merkava. We were inside Merkava before, and I assume that if Tetsuya Takahashi had designed the game that the game the way he intended, you would have been able to go through this whole dungeon once before and gotten to this point, but they had to cut that part out. So they compromised, and the second time they actually made it, because this is going to be the final dungeon, they decided to make it like, you know, a place that you could actually explore, and you'd have to actually sift through obstacles to get back here. But yeah, here we are. We're back in Merkava, in the center, in the core. And remember this door. This looks familiar. This is that same chute. And there, of course, is Shopkeep Johnny doing his thing. And so Faye once again asks if you want to go out, and you can. You can go out if you want. Like this time, you actually have the ability to go outside of Merkava, and there's no time limit. You can do what you want, and so you just want to use this as an opportunity to heal up. The items that Shopkeep Johnny is selling are not anything useful, so there's really nothing particularly great about what is here. And as you can see, I did not get the upgrades for any of these people, so just to prove, I mean, this time I kind of went for almost like a suicide run, just to prove that you only need 3 people to get through the rest of this game. But again, Johnny Shop getting upgrades for multiple gears to the Omega 10 is advised, especially if you want to be safe. So here we are, guys. We've made it. We've made it to the interior of Merkava for the second time, and now we're about to take on God. It's going to be emotional. It's going to be the finale of Let's Play Xenogears. This is the Benchinator, and I'll see you guys for the grandest finale in JRPG history. I'll see you then.